Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. Today I'm talking about something that I think is kind of a lost art when it comes to music and record collecting, and that is great record packaging. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check them out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music weekly playlist that we put together, and also the Patreon page. Make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoy the episode, make sure you give me a little thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So I think hands down, the 70s were the best decade when it comes to really innovative record packaging. But I do have a couple that I'm going to talk about today that are from the 2000s. I think it's definitely something that's definitely, like I said in the beginning, a lost art. We're not seeing these great packaging. When music went digital in the early part of the 2000s, all that kind of went away. You know, no one was really kind of focusing. Actually, probably even before that, even though there is some really cool CD packaging from the 90s. Off the top of my head, I can think of the Ozzy Live and Loud, the first one that came out. It had this like metal grill cover on the CD, which I thought that was kind of cool. But mainly when you want to talk about like great record packaging or great packaging, you're going to talk mainly or look mainly at vinyl records. And there are some outliers out there. Like I said, I do have 2 or 3 from the 2000s that I'm going to talk about. And then you think of like some great box sets that like Tool has put together for Fear Inoculum. You know, really kind of cool, innovative kind of stuff that you really don't see very much anymore. But in the 70s, it seemed like every week there was really cool albums coming out with really awesome, really innovative kind of things that they were trying to do with the packaging. One of the first ones to come to my mind when I started thinking about this is an album that I've loved for a really long time. And it's really kind of cool packaging that off the top of my head, I don't think has ever been kind of replicated since. But the album is Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull. And this is an album, yes, other bands have used the newspaper design, like GNR Lies is one that I can kind of think of off the top of my head. But this is a full, like, fold-out newspaper. And I don't think anyone else quite did that. I might be wrong. You can drop a comment down below if somebody else did. But this is obviously the story behind Thick as a Brick is all about the kid Gerald Bostock, and there's articles in here about that. There's like classified ads. There's like a crossword puzzle, I think, in here. There's television listings. All sorts of really interesting stuff to flip through. It's a full 12-page newspaper that you can kind of go through and read all the interesting articles. But Thick as a Brick was not the first time that Jethro Tull ventured down the path of doing really kind of interesting creative stuff with packaging. 3 years before Thick as a Brick came out, the band released the album Stand Up, which looks just like a regular kind of album jacket, because it is. And then when you open it up, it has a pop-up of the band on the inside. Now, with the pop-up was only, I think, just the first pressings, or first or second pressings. It was definitely early pressings of the album that had the pop-up in there. And then after that, they just it was just printed on the inside of the jacket. So it wasn't as cool, but the pop-up, just something kind of added, that kind of made it more interesting. And Jethro Tull wasn't the only band in the late 60s and early 70s that was doing really cool things when it comes to packaging. The next one is one that probably a lot of people think of when they think of this topic, and that is School's Out by Alice Cooper. Of course, this is the one that folds out into a desk. This is actually the Friday music release. It came out a year or two back. I recreated that original packaging, because I know a lot of the reissues over the last several years, last couple of decades, was just printed the desk on a standard jacket, didn't fold all out. But with this release, you can kind of open up the top of the desk. Of course, there's all sorts of different stuff that's inside the desk. And then on the back of it, you can actually fold these legs out, and it creates a full stand-up desk, which is kind of interesting with packaging. And then with the album itself, of course, it came with the paper panties. And the year after they released School's Out, they released the next album, which also kind of followed down that same kind of path, and that is $1 Billion Babies. Now, this isn't as innovative as the desk design, but the cool thing is about $1 Billion Babies, it's designed like a regular wallet, and then you open it up. Of course, my pressing is I'm missing all there's pictures of the band inside here. You can peel them out. And they're like trading cards. Obviously, the copy I have, somebody did that with. And then this has the fold-out dollar bill, or $1 billion bill. So I open it up here. And just kind of cool design. Like I said, other bands really weren't doing things like this around that time, and they really haven't since. And these designs didn't always work out in the best way possible that the band and the label had hoped for. The next one is an album that, to be honest with, I've stayed away from original pressings of this album because of the design of it. And the album is Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. It's a great album. I really love the album, but the original album had the functional zipper on the front of it. But the problem is with that, it sticks out past the jacket. It can cause damage to the album that's inside of it. It can cause damage to the jacket that's sitting next to if they're in there too tight. So I decided to go with a reissue that didn't have the zipper on the front of it. I think one of the more innovative bands in the 70s when it comes to packaging is Led Zeppelin. They have a couple of albums that I think were really kind of cool. Of course, the great music on there makes the album even better, but the packaging is really kind of cool and interesting and really innovative. Starting with Led Zeppelin 3, of course, if you just look at the album, you don't really know if there's anything really with it until you go to open it up. And it has this really cool pinwheel that you can spin. It has a bunch of different pictures. It's got different pictures. There's pictures of the band in there. You can see through the cutouts here in the front of the cover. Led Zeppelin also had physical graffiti. One of my favorite Led Zeppelin albums, probably second behind Led Zeppelin 4. And this is probably the more famous of the different kind of artwork that Led Zeppelin did. But it's got the cutouts here on the window. I've got the closed shades on mine. And then you can take the inside sleeves. And as you can see, they've got different pictures on there. You can slide the sleeves inside the front, and you see the different pictures through the front of the building. And then the third and final one from Led Zeppelin is In Through the Outdoor. Now, the packaging for the album itself, or the artwork on the album, isn't really all that special. There were 6 different covers of the album. All it is just different shots within the bar. But the cool thing is about the album, or about the packaging, was it came in a brown paper bag. Of course, I don't have the bag anymore. All I got is just the album. But you didn't know what copy of the album you were getting. So if you're a Led Zeppelin completionist, you would have to buy multiple copies to get all 6 of them. The next one isn't solely just on the design of the album jacket. It's also great artwork also. It's probably some of my favorite album artwork of all time. But the album is Brain Salad Surgery by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Artwork by H.R. Geiger. Of course, the artwork itself is just very famous in and of itself. But the cool thing is you can kind of open this up and has the rest of the artwork inside the jacket. Like I said in the intro, it's not just about 60s and 70s albums when it comes to really cool packaging. There is still some coming out today. Just kind of few and far between is probably the best way to put it. But this next one, this is Insomniac by Green Day. This is the anniversary edition that came out. I think it was last year when this came out. Of course, incredible album, mixed by one of my favorite producers of all time, Jerry Finn. And this has, if you can see it in the camera, it has like this kind of chrome finish to the album artwork, which I think is kind of cool. Just little stuff like that you're just kind of, I guess you don't really see anymore. Another one, I guess, is a little bit more about the album artwork than the actual packaging, is the White Stripes Greatest Hits album. Now, this is the Third Man Records exclusive release. It's got this really cool Wizard of Oz theme, which I thought was really kind of cool with it. And there's the back of the artwork there, on the front of it. And even the inside of the gatefold looks really cool, too. So like I said, the album artwork is cool. This also, the interesting thing about this release is I don't know why they even included it, because I don't know anyone that really used it, or anyone that has used it, but it came with magnets, which I guess is kind of cool if you have something to put them on. And then the last one I have is a 2000s album that's definitely more reminiscent of some of that album artwork of the 70s. A little more innovative than, just cool and interesting artwork on the jacket. But the album is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. It's a great album. I know a lot of people hate Kanye West, and he does a lot of dumb stuff and says a lot of dumb stuff, but he does make some great music. And this is a really fantastic album. But the cool thing is about this is you can open up the inside jacket. It's a trifold jacket. There's really nothing special on the inside of it. But on the inside of it, you can pull out these pictures, and you can have different album artwork. I think there's like 4 or 5 different ones you can have on there. There's another picture. You can put that one up front. You can have the blurred out censored version. I wish they had the original version. It's you can go online. There's pictures of it online. Some more different artwork. I don't know who it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be Kanye or what it is. And then I think this is the one that was online. If you go like the digital version of the album, I think that's the digital version of it. But I don't know. I always like the Sword King artwork, so that's the one I always leave on it. Well, that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. I know there's a bunch of other albums out there. That's just the ones I have that I think are really kind of cool and unique packaging. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know about the ones you guys have in your collection. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. And that's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.